Hey guys, Moose here. Welcome back to another episode of Life is Feudal Forest Village. The audio is a little bit too loud. There we go. No, it always seems so damn loud. It's much better. It's not very well balanced. It kind of has highs and lows. Causes some issues when recording, but it's a little hard for me to tell because I think the are decibels a logarithmic scale? I think they are, right? So it's not really like... I think the OBS Studio audio monitor is measuring decibels, and I don't think the scale, because basically it seems like you can get the volume on that monitor to be pretty close between two sources, and the quieter one seems to generally be much quieter. So it's really weird to kind of figure out how you're meant to balance that. And maybe I'm just not understanding it properly, but that's how it seems to me. So if the audio is off, I guess that's my excuse. But I don't know. Let me know. Like if it's bad, say something. I think it's probably fine, but I'm never confident with it because you always play different games and every game has its own audio settings and its own interactions with different... It's just very frustrating to try and stay on top of it and have it correct. Especially when they don't really have mixer settings that vary by game or scene, like it's its own thing. So I'd have to, for everything, I have like, okay, well I need a filter that sets it to the level that I want it for the stream, which is louder because of Discord. Then I have the one that I want for recording because the game audio might be a little bit more important than it would be in a stream because you might have something with like a narrator, not something I've typically done, but you get the idea. It gets irritating, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm still frustrated about markets. I think that's stupid. I'm basically treating it like a barn at this point because no one's really taking out. Maybe that's just because I don't really have that many, workers, and that's fine. But typically, I feel like the game's kind of going to punish you if you have any workers that aren't actively working anyway, so it's sort of pointless. I don't know. I'm mildly disappointed with it, but not seriously. Should have had those harvest a while ago. It's focused on potatoes, which mercifully have some good spots here. Some are pretty terrible, like that one. Most of them are pretty good here, though. We finished 2 farms already. One of them is an unlikely one, so that's actually good. The rest are, they're gonna get there. Or close, anyway. They're maybe not gonna get all the way finished, but... we're doing well. Bottom line, we're sniffing 30k potatoes, and that's a lot better than I've done in recent memory, so I have 0 complaints. Okay, I got people. We're gonna go up to 12 at least here. Try to finish that off, and then we're gonna go for some wood. Same over here. There's kind of nothing right there, but this is the area I really want to clear out. I don't like having it this close to my town. It's harder to see. That's the real issue. It's really just visibility more than anything. Other than that, it doesn't really bother me that much, honestly. They gotta be getting close, right? 7 people working here. I could just tell the other one to no longer work. Get 12. Oh, shit. Whatever. Well, it's fine. They're gonna be done anyway. Why stress? They're filling up the warehouse, so it's mostly tree guys filling that up. Lumberjacks, I suppose they would be called. Just make sure we're not being stupid here. Is anyone else done? You're nowhere near done. No one else is done. That's fine. And now you're done whether you like it or not, because it's about to be -1. Yeah, Alright. I'm actually legitimately surprised that we did not break 30k there. I thought we were going to make it. I was wrong. Yeah, we only need 24 here. We're not really building that much. I'd rather have you jokers. And then I would say probably I don't need anything else. Blacksmiths are going? Are they? No, they're not going. Alright, well... Weavers go up to max. We've got the stuff to make them work now. Smithy goes as well. I just want to be safe, you know? I don't want to fall short and start having people die in the winter here. I don't think that's going to happen, but, you know, better safe than sorry. I wouldn't mind stocking up on clay, but it hardly feels necessary. I think we're genuinely at a spot here where there's stuff that we don't need done in the winter. I should actually check on the tool production research. It might be finished. It is. What do you know? Production 2? I kind of feel like doing these makes sense because they probably lead to the higher tier food production stuff. I feel like the other one is like production or whatever. That's it's good, but it's not really what we're going for there. So, anyway, whatever. Clothing bonuses are nice, if we can get those. But we really, for that, it's not really a production issue anymore, it's a materials issue. Our throughput's fine. We have supply chain issues, which largely revolve around hide. Why would that be a question mark? Just because, no, I guess no one, because no one's working there. Okay, and some of you are going to come deconstruct this. Because it is no longer needed. We do not want it here. So it shall be removed. And you know what? Why don't you go work on stone? I should have paused to do that, because it kind of... It didn't bug anything, but it, like, they had to do a weird little dance of being fired and rehired immediately. Which I suppose I don't really actually care about. I'm kind of concerned they're not going to bring any hay. But I also don't know that I actually care. What if I do this? Would this be sufficiently silly? Because they're going to take the hay over there and immediately take it away? It's like, I wonder if you could do... what. I'm sure you can. I'm sure there's nothing stopping you from making like an infinite loop of stupid where they just carry the same resources from warehouse to warehouse infinitely. I think that'd be pretty funny. Very stupid and pointless, but it'd be funny. That's like the... Did they do it in the Depression? It's like the jobs where the government like created a job that was totally unnecessary and not worth the money it was being paid for, but they just paid people to do stuff because if you just give someone money, it doesn't help, really. Like, they need purpose, like, they need a job. So it's a lot better in situations like that to actually give people who need money or who are running, like, starving or don't have money, actually just give them a job and pay them. It's better than just giving them welfare. Now, I would be totally fine if they just gave me money, and I think I wouldn't have a problem with that, but that's also the same reason that I'm not really in a position where or it's one of many reasons that begin with the fact that I'm quite lucky that I'm not in a position where I need money. I mean, I need money, always need money, but like I don't need money to be given to me. I'm surviving, at least. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm comfortable, but I'm surviving. And basically the point that I was making was I would love for someone to just give me a check for nothing every month, but I don't need it, and it would not benefit society for me to be given that. But if I did have it, I would just stream and record. I'd do this until I got big, basically. That's completely not true, actually. I couldn't... So here's the real problem I have. I recently spoke about kind of fantasies I have surrounding streaming and all that in a heat signature video, which don't feel like you need to go watch it. You're not really missing anything there. I found it interesting, which is why I talked about it, but it's not really critical for what I'm about to explain. Even if, hypothetically, someone paid me $100,000 a year to do anything, I still couldn't just say, well, I'm just gonna spend all of my work time streaming and recording. And the reason for that is my... Well, okay, I literally could. I'm physically capable of doing that, but I wouldn't, is what I'm saying. And the reason is I'm compelled... Earning money, working, managing my finances is a game. And if I choose to do that, I am making an objectively losing play because I would be so much better served long term by doing this exclusively in my free time and then like going to school to learn how to program or become a CPA, which is what I actually want to do. And then my job could be like, I don't know, developing a program, a game maybe, or being an accountant, which is probably the better one because it's wonderfully, not really boring, but boring. Like, it is boring, let's be honest. But it's acceptably boring. I'm fine with it being boring. It's boring in the kind of way that I perhaps maybe even enjoy. No, that will not work. Which one's full then? Or which one has the wood? It's gotta be this one, right? Yeah, okay, good. So I have created a loop, and I don't care. And the reason I did that is to get wood over to next to the castle so that they can start working on that. Where do I take people off of? There's nowhere to take people off of, is there? Do I want to take people off? I kind of want farmers, so I guess probably charcoal for now. Because we just don't really need charcoal at the moment. And I think I have to keep making flax. I could maybe, but I don't see, oh, shit, maybe I do need it. Let's move one over to potatoes and see how flax does. I just want to see. I'm not going to freak out over it too much. I do want more wool, though. That's a suitable amount. So I'm about to need to trade for hide, and hide is bullshit expensive, so... What are you gonna do? Why is there so much stuff? Really? I mean, I guess, yeah, that's over 1,000, whatever. But yeah, I wouldn't be able to let myself make the decision to not, like, do proper work. And streaming is proper work. This is work. You know, I know we like to build up this romantic image of like, oh, you're a streamer, it's like such a glamorous job, you just get to play games all day and record. Like, yeah, okay, fine. To a degree, yes, there's a benefit to that. But, you know, there's people who like doing their day jobs too. It's not like gaming is just this unique thing where no matter how you play a game and commentate over it, it's going to be fun. That's not how it works. This is work. This is legitimately work. I'm not complaining about that, but I'm not going to hide from the fact that this is environment where you don't necessarily have to be professional, but you need to be professional in understanding that this is work, I guess is the way I'd put it. And part of that may involve an image that would be commonly considered to be unprofessional, which would be swearing and joking around and reacting to jump scares and stuff, and that's fine. But generally, when you're, you know, this is work, and I think pretty much anyone would benefit from treating it with the respect that you treat a job, because it's worse in some ways than a regular job, because at a regular job, there's laws about when you can be fired. Look at what's going on with YouTube. YouTube basically, like, in a way, and this is maybe where we start getting, like, if you had a different, let me put it this way, if the US wasn't so hilariously and blatantly anti-individual and pro-company, pro-corporation, pro-basically anyone with money, if this was a more, maybe more like a Nordic model of a country and governance, I could very easily see YouTube being fined, like, incredibly aggressively as a result of all the demonetization stuff, because they've taken people's livelihoods and without any kind of reasonable notice or explanation destroyed their income in ways that are unjustifiable. No one gives a shit in the US because it's like, oh, it's a company, they have money. Whatever you do, if it goes to court, they're just going to spend $4 billion on fucking, not $4 billion, like a couple million, they'll just throw a couple $1 million at some lawyers and you're fucked, no matter what the right or wrong is no longer relevant. Because they've paid the money to make you wrong, no matter how right you may be. And worst case scenario for them is you get a tiny amount of money that probably doesn't even do you any good, because income is not the same as a lump sum of money, and nothing really changes. And you've wasted a tremendous amount of your life, if you even had the money in the first place to take them to court, which is incredibly expensive and will pretty much basically make the entire exercise pointless, because if anyone... what's going on? You're not gonna go anywhere. Like, it's taking them to court for fucking over your income is not actually going to help you. It's not going to accomplish anything. The only thing you can do, and you can't even really do anything, is to say, throw your hands up and be like, well, I'm screwed, time to go to Twitch. That's it. So, it's... I could never... It's not that I could never. I would have to be pretty set, I guess, being honest with myself. I'd have to be pretty set outside of all of this to be able to justify doing it full-time. Or doing it, let me rephrase that. Doing it as my primary source of income. I can absolutely think of scenarios in which I do this full-time. But that's not the same as doing it as my primary source of income. And just to give you an example of what that means, there are... Well, okay. How would I explain this? There's a lot of different paths to it, but basically you'd want to... It'd have to be some kind of a passive income source that maybe not completely passive, but it'd have to be, whether it's like owning and renting out property, having a business that just kind of gives you money periodically, anything like that that you don't necessarily have to be hands-on about. I'd have to have something like that, which is almost certainly not going to happen, but I do have some minor income from rent, but all of that goes to a mortgage, so it doesn't actually mean anything. Like, I'm not actually making any money whatsoever off of that. I'm just paying off a loan, basically. That's all I can do. Even if I won the lottery, I can't see myself doing this full-time, because it's just that you can always have more, and I place far too high of a value. And this may be a flaw. I'm not saying this makes me better than it. I actually think this is probably a flaw. I place way too high of a value on income. Because pretty much if I won the lottery, I would probably just buy up a bunch of property, rental property, and use that. And that might lead in turn to me being able to do this more, but generally speaking, probably not. For the most part, I don't know. I'm trying to, but on the flip side, I'm being really like not really negative. I don't see this as a bad thing, really. It's just reality, I guess. Because I've, for whatever reason, decided that San Jose, the Bay Area, California is my home. I belong here. I don't want to be anywhere other than here. And no, let me tell you, you say something like that, you can already feel the money leaving your wallet. Rent is out of control. Man, you know, even if we had basic income, which is almost probably never going to happen in the U.S., but even if we did, man, I don't know if I would want to do, or rather, I don't know if I'd do this or go for like continue to have like a legit full-time job, like a traditional job. Legit's not the right word. I don't know if that was worth doing. Let's see. Move the hide over here. That's not the right one. Done goofed, Moose. What are you doing? Yeah, I don't mean any of this as negative. It's just sort of like just factual analysis of reality. And it doesn't particularly bother me, to be honest. I mean, yeah, I do want to just do this and not worry about any of the other bullshit in life, and believe me, it is bullshit. I can't tell you how many times I've been pissed off about coworkers over the last several months, and just like feeling like I don't want to work for anyone. I just want to work for me. And that's, you know, you don't generally have that luxury. I'd love to find an opportunity to really like start a business and without like, okay, I can start a business, but I can't start a business that has any, well, this is starting a business. Streaming and YouTubing is starting a business. I can't start a business that has a reasonable and acceptable entry cost while also having a meaningful potential for significant returns. Like, maybe that was a little bit more complicated than it needed to be, but oh, what the fuck? Okay, there we go. Game's back. I don't know what happened there. Well, I do know what happened. There was a graphical glitch, but yeah. That'd be fun. Maybe I need to think about that more. And programming is that to an extent, but you're probably way better off just saying, hey, Google, you want another programmer? I'll join up. Then I can go work on the demonetization bot and sabotage it from the inside. The dream. I wonder how that would work. What if you're a programmer who is a YouTuber and you applied to work at Google, specifically at YouTube, and you were like, hey, I want to work on the demonetization process, and you just fucking ruined it. Obviously that wouldn't work, there's backups and everything, but it'd be fun to like see how they might react to you being on their platform already and being like, yeah, what do they do? If I apply for a job at Google, which is something I've considered doing in the past, do they look up my records in their system on YouTube and say, hey, we have your real name, because they have to pay me what little they do? Do they look through my content and go like, oh, well, the bot thinks you swear too much, so I don't know, man. I don't know about hiring you. You might reflect poorly on the company if people ever figure out who you are. Would they do that? Is that legal? I'm actually not sure if that's legal. There are laws about, actually California specifically has some laws about that, I think. But that's more social media. I don't know if this counts as social media. Anyway, interesting to consider. Sorry, we've been kind of off the Life is Feudal topic, but this is interesting stuff. And I know it probably sounded kind of negative. It's not negative. I don't see it that way. It's just like, yeah, it's life, man. What you want to do with life and where you want to go, how you want to live is really, like, honestly kind of the purpose of life in a lot of ways. Like, what else is it going to be, right? It's how you choose to live, and that's important. So to me, this is kind of the number one thing, is how do I provide for myself and my eventual family? It's a game. It's the game. It is the game. And we all play it one way or another. So anyway, we went over, but that's a fun topic. I like talking about it. And again, not really negative, just sort of like figuring out, you know, it's no different than playing an RPG and saying, well, gee, you know, my strength's not that good, so I can't really play warrior, but hey, I've got pretty good intelligence or wisdom, so I can play mage. You know, that's all it is. That's all that analysis is. It's not like positive or negative. It's not like that. So I hope it didn't come off as too negative or anything. But anyway, like I was saying, time to end the episode. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you'll join us for the next one as well. Oh god, no -1 Celsius in fall. This is going to be rough in the next episode. Anyway, like I said, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, feel free to come by twitch.tv/electronicmoose. Streams Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, 6 to 8 p.m. PST, 9 to 11 p.m. EST. Schedule probably changing on the horizon, but not sure yet. You can also follow me at Electronic Moose on Twitter to see when I'm going to go live if you would like. But if you just prefer to watch videos, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.